Today we're starting our new book, Truth in a Culture of Doubt, Engaging Skeptical Challenges to the Bible, by Andreas Kostenberger, Daryl Bach, and Josh Chetra. And so what this book is going to do is kind of take the best, the critique of biblical scholarship on the other side has to offer, and that's through Bart Ehrman. And so we're kind of going to delve into who Bart Ehrman is, why he's become popular, and also what his kind of main arguments are, and seeing if they have good standing, and if they do, we should admit when critics have points, and see that sometimes maybe what they've critiqued is actually beneficial for the Christian worldview.
In fact, it helps us to grow as we engage, with folks who don't necessarily agree with us. It challenges us and makes us think through the various issues, and perhaps helps us to understand better why we believe what we believe.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so the links for the book is below in the comment in the description, and so you can pick it up there, ebook or through physical form. There's no Audible for this one, so unfortunately you just have to use your eyes along with this one, or use us, our nice voices for that. Yeah. And so we've read actually, I think both of us have read this book before on our own, and then together we've read one of the greater critiques on Ehrman's kind of where he has his foundationalism, which is the
this is Kruger's book.
Yeah, he co-authors with Kruger. It's Heresy of Orthodoxy, which critiques what's known as the Bauer hypothesis.
Right.
So Bauer is this kind of 30s German theologian who comes up with this theory
early 20th century.
There's all these different Christian orthodoxes going around, and there's no one set of orthodox.
And it's somehow kind of eventually like the strong guys survive.
Right.
The winners take all. Yeah. So it morphs gradually into what we believe today. And it really didn't start off that way. There are all kinds of things about who Jesus was and what he talked about and that sort of thing. Right. And so eventually we got to where we are today, right? And
we would definitely recommend Heresy of Orthodoxy. I mean, it takes completely out the Bauer hypothesis, goes point by point, and pretty much shows you a historical overview of what actually early Christianity is. And Kruger has even written kind of a not necessarily a follow up, but for good contextualization, Christianity in the 2nd century, which brings in the Gnostic period and kind of early Christianity having to respond to that. And so those books are good if you're looking for kind of other avenues to read if you're looking for something post this. But this one's going to be mostly about the critiquing the theories and the presentations that Bart Ehrman has popularized, and so we'll go into that some here. So perhaps you've seen one of Bart Ehrman's debate performances in the preface, and he argued against a variety of opponents, or maybe you've read one of his many best-selling books. And I mentioned Misquoting Jesus, probably his most popular one. He has worked with
Bruce Metzger,
which is a huge name in the textual criticism. And we'll get more into what textual criticism is for those who are like, oh, you're critiquing the Bible already? In a way, yes. But it's kind of like how one would say apologetics. We're not necessarily saying, oh, we're sorry for this. We're coming up with a good critique method. And sometimes the issues that he raises are important for the faith. And in this book, they're going to be talking about taking a closer look at the key arguments that Ehrman keeps repeating and repeating. Because if you've ever seen one of his debates, if you know all the jokes, you're not laughing after the third debate because you've heard them all. He kind of has the same argumentation. And so if you're looking for real answers to Ehrman's arguments from a biblical perspective, easily accessible and thoughtful presentation, this book is the book for you.
Yeah. So, over the years, Ehrman has attacked the Bible from what seems like every conceivable angle.
Yeah.
Right? His efforts to discredit historic Christianity, Ehrman has systematically sought to dismantle virtually every major plank in the Christian religion. He's gone through everything.
Yeah, even so far as coming up with a book about passing down of oral stories. He has the theory that the Bible started out, or the New Testament started out as an oral transmission, and things get lost because you have an armed robbery, and people see a woman with red hair, and someone else sees a man with brown hair. Can't trust anybody.
Yeah, kind of like that old game that you played where you whisper and then you finally
right,
get
the game of telephone. That's all right. Bible translation is, right? Yeah, we've all heard that one before.
Yeah, and so in his earlier writings, he argued that the gospel was not based on authoritative, commonly agreed upon teaching of Jesus and his disciples, but it only kind of gradually emerged as a result of various power struggles, right, in the first
Bauer
century.
hypothesis.
Yeah, this is definitely the Bauer hypothesis, right, where eventually, probably by the 2nd century, or at least the 3rd century, we have the book that we have today. Yeah. It didn't start off that way.
Right. Bauer being of the belief that the Catholic Church was so early and had so much power at the early start of it, where we see historically that's actually not the case, which is one of the critiques in Heresy of Orthodoxy that they do a really good job of. So more recently, from when this book was written, which is 2014 is our copyright, Ehrman has contended that many of the New Testament writings were fabricated and not written by the author to whom they are ascribed to.
Mm-hmm. So Paul didn't write Paul, Peter didn't write Peter, John, there was some other John perhaps, or at least John didn't write
especially
John.
The Gospels. I mean, there are times where he, I think, within the confines of the classroom, might admit to certain writings by Peter being of Peter, but what does that mean? And he's expressed strong skepticism regarding the reliable handing down of the original text, and that's pretty much what he's got popularized for. And in addition, Ehrman has also ventured in the area of biblical theology. Oh, weird.
Yeah,
that's a weird place for a skeptic to go, alleging that there are numerous contradictions in the Scripture, and we'll see later on in this book how formal those supposed contradictions have been to the formation of who Bart Ehrman is today. And perhaps one of his strongest reasons for Ehrman's aversion to the Christian faith is revealed in this book, God's Problem. It's God's problem.
That's right.
Where he states that God's inaction in the face of evil and human suffering is not only unexplainable but inexcusable.
Yeah. So this obviously is the problem of evil, and he's gonna, he deals with that, and why that's a serious problem.
And that's why this book will deal with it.
Yeah.